intuitive and energy healer, and I love helping people to transform their lives for the better. And I love having guests on that also love helping with transformation. And I have here with me Suzanne Gunderson today, and we're going to get right into unlocking illusions and healing relationships. But first, I just want to invite you to share this out. So let's just take a minute and do that. I'm going to see if we are live yet on the page and get started. Yes, we are. Okay. So Suzanne, if you want to share out, you can. And I'm going to do the same and invite some people to join us. So yes, please do that. That would be awesome. Okay. And while we're sharing out, put in the comments where you're from, and when you share this out, put in there shared so I can look back at the comments. I do a giveaway each week for a free remote lightweight balancing session. So share this out and I will put you in there to see if you're chosen, and I'll let you know the next week. So yeah, I love doing that. All right. So whenever you're ready, Suzanne, let me know.
Oh, all set.
Okay. All right. So tell people a little bit about yourself while I'm inviting a few more people to join us. That would be great.
Wonderful. Well, thanks, first of all, Christy, for having me. I'm so honored to be on your show. It is such an amazing show that you have. So about me, I'm Suzanne Gunderson. I'm a holistic stress relief mentor, and I help people to relieve anxiety, chronic stress, and build confidence. So for 10 years, I've been working with people to be able to help them align to their true, authentic self. That way they can improve health, their mental health, emotional health, physical health, and improve their most important relationships, all using a technique called energy tapping. So you may have heard of it as EFT or faster EFT. I kind of have my own style of doing it, so I just call it energy tapping. Mine is more to the root, so that you can get results faster. So truly it is a method where you can reprogram your stress, reclaim your energy and reclaim your power. So it's a wonderful process that I take people through, and it really helps them in a very short amount of time kind of release some of the older subconscious programs that have got us gripped into life and the conditioned way that we've lived, to be able to live with more of what I call aliveness and authenticity. So thanks so much for having me here.
Thank you for joining me. Yes, tapping, emotional freedom technique, but I love that you make it your own. And because that's the way I do things, and I have found that works best for me is to really go with what works for me, and that I have found that is most effective and efficient for other, helping other people too. So I like to combine things, kind of that whole alchemy of things. It's just my thing.
Yeah, I don't think I set out to say I was going to go do something on my own. I think it just was an organic process for me over the years of learning all these amazing different alternative holistic tools to kind of come up with a style and approach that worked for me. And as the teacher that I like to be in the world, I want to share it with everybody.
Yeah. So let's see who's joining us here. We got quite a few people with us here. And thank you all for being here and for sharing and joining us. And we got a process we're going to do at the end here to really help bring all this together. And as usual, if you are open to receive any type of activations for yourself, any kind of energies or downloads, they usually are available in my show. They just kind of hang around me and show up. If it's for your highest and best good and it's something that's beneficial for you, they just happen. And so that's awesome. If you just want to be open to receive that, that's great. And if not, that's fine too. But I create a sacred space, and I'm just always just grateful to receive whatever is beneficial, right?
Yeah, so, and if you're all here, then there's no mistake in the universe. There's something here for you today.
Exactly. So just like Coach Nick says, you could be anywhere, but you are here right here. And so even if you're on the replay, this works on the replay too. All of my videos do. And that's what I love about everything being energy and frequency and vibration. And, it's all about so many wonderful things that come together. So yes. All right. So let's get into talking about and really unlocking those illusions and healing relationships. So what all, I'd love to get your take on that. And anyone that has questions or something that you'd really want to work on right now, put it in the comments, because Suzanne's going to really look at those throughout the show and put something together that's customized for you that are here today.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm so excited to talk about this. This is one of the things that I'm so passionate about, because it's really something that is coming into my world in big, big waves. And that is that, I've got a lot of people out there who feel stuck, conflicted, even brokenhearted or separated, from an important relationship that they have. And really learning that some of the foundational pieces that connected were not very healthy. And really to understand that is to appreciate that, we have come from a very conditioned society where we were living by rules that were made outside of ourselves. And thereby starts that illusion and delusion that we then agree to. We agree to it spiritually. We agree to it, energetically. We agree to it consciously even. And what it all does over the course of our life is create a scenario of self-betrayal. And so we end up having conflicted type of relationships. And I think in order for us to move toward, really unlocking the kind of connections that we want to experience, we want to experience connection with such authentic depth and vulnerability and intimacy, not just physical intimacy, but spiritual intimacy and emotional intimacy that makes us feel that we are deeply connected at the core of who we are. That really, letting down the walls of those illusions and delusions is kind of where we need to go do the work. And we might not even know that that's what's happening for us. But so I help a lot of people realize that the conditioning that they're living in has got us to this point of, the rules that we believe in and the thoughts that we think because of those rules, the beliefs we have about ourselves and the world and society have got us kind of all locked up in a way that's living outside of ourselves. Not enough inside. And so if this is something that's even resonant with you, feel free to pop that in the chat and let us know. Or if you're in a conflicted relationship or you have had one, or maybe you're stuck or struggling, or maybe you realize you're in some type of a codependent relationship, and for all the reasons of those illusions that I was mentioning, share with us if that's what's going on for you, because that's this healing energy that we're going to be within in the next, time that we're together here, to truly be able to, let go of the walls of those illusions and unlock, being able to get into the relationship connections that we're all really searching for.
Yeah. And I loved it. You and I got together last week and talked about this. And I love that you were passionate about it too, about so many of the things that I call them programs, but they are conditioning. They, and also there's patterns and all kinds of things you can call them. But it's things that have been created over time, even before, us existing here, just since, the beginning of time, really, things that have accumulated over time that a lot of them weren't originally created to be, and it's something that we can realize that it doesn't have to continue too. We can start making these changes. And because really, if you go back to the beginning of everything, and if you, I don't know, I like to kind of see it as if you, anything that you associate with, and if you just keep asking enough times, it all really does go back to love, right? That was the beginning of creation, was love. And so anything can be transformed and transmuted with love too. And really getting back to that natural state, right? Because they talk about love and light. People are like, oh goodness, they're talking about love and light, but really that does go back to the beginning of everything. And then everything since then is just stuff that has been created. And everyone's, what I love about it is that everyone does and can get back to their situation or their reality, their experiences being their own, having that choice. And I love that.
Yeah, the conditioning part is the part that is the illusion, is the delusion that we agree to, which really, when we are believing illusions and delusions, we're blocking our own third eye, which really is our intuitive impulses and how we truly will live with self-honor. Um, we talk about we come from love, we're going to love, and I feel like love is an overused word these days. Like you said, love and light, love and light. A lot of people say it. I invite you to consider, not just you, Christy, but everybody who's watching, I invite you to consider maybe using the word self-honor in place of love, because it
And
truly is
well-being too.
in that compassionate stance of I am who I am, and that is enough because it's who I am. That's honoring yourself, and that is um, giving you the self-care, which really is loving yourself without using it as an overused word that maybe has kind of numbed us out from the definition of what we think it should be or how it could be, and really replace it with something like self-honor.
Yeah, and that is a good point too. If there is another word that, it's all about what feels best, for
Yes.
you.
Mm-hmm.
And if you love the word love, then use that. But if there's another word that really resonates and that you can, use in place of that, if you feel like it has been overused or this or that, but it really is just knowing that's, I mean, it's already within. You don't even need to have to know that it's there. It's already there. So really, it's about and everyone is different. Everyone is different,
for
so
sure.
different words, different things are going to work differently for everybody. So yeah.
So when we're talking about healing relationships, I kind of have a three-step process that I follow. And the first step is always, to try and gain awareness of what it is that you're experiencing with the people that are around you. And so I just invite you to, maybe the next time you're around important people in your life, to slow down and notice how your body is feeling when you're around these people. Do you feel light? Do you feel heavy? Do you feel a specific emotion? Are there certain thoughts that you think? Are there always certain conversations that you have? And what do those perpetuate in you? Do they perpetuate a mood in you, or is it really part of your personality or who you think you are? So maybe just get some awareness going. And when you're moving through that space of collecting information about what's going on in your existence through being aware and receiving through perception, you can inventory some of those things for yourself and say, I kind of don't like that, or maybe I like that better, and then be able to kind of fine tune your path a little bit. But it's in the awareness of what you want and what you don't want, first and foremost, that you can begin to do some clearing work and really honoring yourself to say, that's not part of me. I don't want that pattern anymore. I don't like that, or I want to be able to change that part of me. And just your acknowledgement of it is step one. And then step number two is really rebuilding the connection with yourself. It is, finding those self-honoring boundaries that you can feel free, feel expressive with the freedom that your body wants to express itself with, certainly with healthy boundaries, because not everybody is safe to be around when you're in completely open mode. But that second step is to build that connection with yourself and honoring those internal impulses and urges and inspiration that you're feeling around what feels good versus what doesn't feel good, and then adjust in the boundaries of connection. And then through those two stages of awareness and clearing and connection and boundary building, you'll be able to live with more clarity and confidence to expand into the world, because I think we're really truly here to be able to connect in that expansion together. I mean, we're creating emotional villages everywhere that we go based on who we are and our most dominant vibration. And so you want to make those villages be supportive, whether they're villages that are global or they're local to where you are, because that's where healthy relationships can begin to be fueled and nurtured, and we'll get that deep, resonant, connected feeling that we're all yearning for. And so the, releasing and relaxing the illusions begins with that first step of, looking at your landscape of the people in your life and the experiences that you have, and gaining that awareness of how you're experiencing it, doing the clearing work in whatever modality you like. I happen to like tapping. Some people like essential oils. Some people like breath work, yoga, meditation, coming to your healing, Christy, whatever works for you. And then from there, build that reconnection within yourself and really trust yourself. I mean, I was working with a woman earlier when we started to build self-connection. She had a lot of anxiety because she doesn't know how to trust herself, because there's just been so many things that she's believed outside of herself, for good reason, because it was how she survived. And reconnecting to herself as being an important step. And then from there, it's complete, freedom to live with confidence and clarity in those healthy connections.
Absolutely. So, all right. So now we've talked about kind of the illusions and, healing the relationships. So what advice do you give people that come to you really wanting to, I know you use the energy technique that you use, but what other advice and guidance do you give people when it comes to, okay, where do I start with this? How do I make these changes, or what kind of advice do you give people?
Yeah, I think that goes back to step number one, and that is, invite yourself to slow down a little bit in your life. I mean, life is so overstimulating us, and we're become so overwhelmed, and we just hunker down into our trances and our conditioned ways of living. And so I just invite you to slow down a little bit in certain areas of your life, to start paying attention to what's going on, and then recognize what feels good and what doesn't feel good. And really start to take an accounting of, well, that's my mother though. Okay, well, she doesn't make me feel good. Why not? Because we always had that kind of conversation, and it's always about her saying this kind of thing to me, and I don't feel good about myself when I'm around her. Or maybe it's a critical boss, or maybe it's a relationship where you have a conflict in an intimate relationship or friendship or something. So, really always building, more information for yourself about what feels good and what doesn't feel good, and then giving yourself permission to lean in the direction of what feels better. Give yourself permission to go in a direction that feels better for yourself. You can think a different thought at any moment of the day, and in that new thought, it can have a different expression in your body and make you feel differently. So you have the power to do that, the power to gain the wisdom and the awareness of who's influencing you and to what degree, what makes you feel good and what not, and then make a choice for yourself in the direction that you want to go.
Yeah, so sometimes it's just stopping and being still and just saying, okay, just stop.
Yeah.
Just stop and just quiet things down. And here's a little trick that I found recently, is that when there's any kind of overthinking going on or whatever, if you humming actually can kind of quiet that down. So if you just want to just start humming, and if you try it right now, I mean, I'm telling you,
I know it does. It's amazing.
It does. Yeah. Humming is another way of it gets your mind off of whatever it was it's thinking about, and it really lets those vibrations come in, and it really can do a lot. So that was just a simple little trick, so finding these little things, but always just encourage people, find what works best for you, because everyone is different. Just like with the different techniques and modalities, everyone, responds differently or has what's, something that works better for them or best for them. So it really goes back to a lot. So someone here has got some, let's see, Joy has something there that she's sharing. And so we can actually do some work around some of this stuff that's coming up in the comments here. Yeah, I'm asking angels to clear your thoughts. Yes, absolutely. And so there's so many different things. And some people they'll say, that just doesn't work for me. Okay, then find something that does, whether it's just trying many different things or just asking for guidance as to what is going to help you and be best for you. And the next thing you know, you're guided to a video or to an email or to something, and you're like, oh, wow, and that can be an answer to your prayers there. I know I get little synchronicities like that all the time. I'll ask for something. Next thing you know, I'm getting an email and I'll just read the subject line and there's my answer. Or I'll run across a video and they just happen to be talking about something. And, it may just be the subject matter,
Yeah, the other day I asked my spirit guide, I said, please send me 3 clear signals tomorrow, sometime during the day, that this thing that I'm been, really trying to manifest is on its way. And I mean, they just bowled me over. I was like, okay, awesome. Thank you so much. So sometimes all you need to do is ask.
Ask for a sign.
But going back to your humming comment, there are so many wonderful stress relief techniques out there. And when I work with my clients, I create what I call a stress relief toolbox. So I have about 30 different things that I offer, and regulating the vagus nerve. And the vagus nerve is this big, thick nerve that runs in the middle of our body up to our brainstem. And when we regulate the vagus nerve, it really is able to help us calm down. And there's so many different ways to access it. And humming is a brilliant way. It's so simple. You could just hum a simple children's song, or hum your favorite song, or hum Happy Birthday, or hum some easy song that you know how to hum, or just do the humming itself without any song if you don't want to.
Yeah, sometimes I just make up stuff, and it has no certain. I mean, it doesn't even sound very nice.
One of my favorite techniques that I've been sharing out a lot lately, I learned through Donna Eden's energy medicine, which I learned about 15 years ago. It's called the triple warmer smoothie. We have an energy meridian in our body called triple warmer, which regulates so much of our nervous system, and really is the energy meridian when we're living in that stressed place. And so there's a really simple technique I would love to share with you and your audience. It's called the triple warmer smoothie. When we've got the triple warmer activated, and it has definitely got us more in a fight or flight stress place, is a really quick way to just calm it down immediately. So I invite you all just to take your 2 fingers, one on the inside of your eyebrows up here, and the other just on the top of bridge of your nose. And you're gonna just sweep your face with your fingers, and take your 2 fingers and start tapping your temples. And then you're going to take your fingers like a claw, and you're going to tap all the way around your ears, all the way down your neck, all the way to your thymus, and put your hands on your heart chakra and take a nice, easy breath. And I invite you to do that like 3 times in a row. Sweep your face, press your temples, tap your temples behind your ears, down your neck, and take a nice breath. 3rd time. And you can even make it look a little bit cooler and smoother, if you don't want anybody to see what you're doing, you're a little bit stressed out. You can be like, it's okay. And it still works. And it's a way to really just calm down that energy meridian in your body, to be able to neutralize any stressed thinking, stressed emotions, stressed body reaction that you might be having to a conflict. And I know we were talking about, healing relationships here, unlocking the illusions. And when we are in a reactive state of our body's stress, we don't have the perspective to have choice in how we're engaging in that thing, so that we can actually say, hey, wait a minute, maybe I'm believing something, or maybe I'm lying to myself, or maybe they're lying to me, and you're not having that clarity in the moment. So doing something as simple as humming, even counting, or humming and counting, doing this triple warmer smoothie will help you be able to get that presence that will give you the opportunity to have the choice, to be able to see clearly what's in front of you, and from there you'll be able to, relax the walls of that illusion, and then move in a direction of real healthy connection.
Yeah. And anyone else that would like to put any other, helpful tips or tricks in the comments, be sure to do that. And other people, that way other people can read them too. So you want to get started with the process, with getting some tapping done, or the energy release there. Okay.
I'm looking on my side too. Oops.
Yeah, I also read Donna Eden's books. There were several. She's got many of them actually, and so I studied those for quite a while, and they were quite. There's a lot of just simple things in there that are helpful. Just things that can be done in just a matter of minutes.
I go back and forth. I mean, we're definitely human bodies living in the 3D, but we are energy first and foremost. And so when you learn some of these really simple energy techniques and tips to help your body feel more balanced, your mental clarity is going to arise, and your emotions are going to be balanced, and your nervous system, which manages all of your body systems, is going to be much more regulated and working like a fluid machine for you. When we experience mental distress or emotional distress or physical distress, it's because our energy is out of alignment. So certainly engaging the body's energy system is like the first way that I go to be able to begin to start that regulating process for myself.
Yeah. So, all right.
Okay. Someone just said they sing the song Baby and it feels good. That's good. Find your favorite song and start humming to it. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah, and thanks everybody for sharing. You're wonderful souls for sharing.
Yeah. Okay. And I have some accelerator images after Suzanne gets done with the process that we're about to do. And so I will share those with you at the end of the show, and also who I chose from last week for the light wave session.
Beautiful. So if we would like to get started, everyone, what we're going to do is we're going to do some energy tapping. So I just invite you to follow me along on just to learn what the tapping points are. The first is you're going to use 2 fingers, either hand, doesn't matter. I'm just going to pick one hand. I'm going to pick my right hand. And you're going to start tapping between your eyebrows. So if you grew your eyebrows together, just get a nice healthy bounce there. We're just practicing. It's just a practice round. Just tapping between your eyebrows. This is the first point. It's the bladder meridian, and it represents emotional trauma. And we want to get a nice healthy bounce on this one, enough that you can actually maybe even hear a pat as you're patting your fingers to your head. And then the second point is right here on the side of the eye, by your temples. And you're going to just start taking your 2 fingers and tap right there. If you want to do both sides, you can do that. You want to do one side and the other, you can do that.
It's about intention, right?
Yeah, so just keep it simple and do what's comfortable for you. And then the next point is under your eye, on the top of your cheekbone. And then the last point is going to be take all 4 fingers of one hand and get a nice bounce across both your collarbones. Our collarbones kind of meet right here in the middle, right where my necklace is kind of falling. Just get a nice bounce on both sides right there. So those are the tapping points that we're going to use. And so what we're going to be doing while we're tapping is we are disrupting this connection between the mind and body. So I invite you right now to think of something where you've got maybe some concerns or some illusions or some storylines going on in your life that may be blocking you from having the type of healing and healthy relationship that you're wanting. And however you recognize that storyline in your life, just welcome it right now and just notice that you might see it as a movie in your mind. You might hear it as voices or noises or sounds. Maybe it's your own voice saying something, or maybe you just feel it as sensations in the body. So just welcome it all and just notice it. And then maybe give it an intensity number on a scale of 0 to 10. If 0 is doesn't bother me and 10 is it really bothers me, what number would you give it? And maybe try and find something that's higher than a 6. And if you're not quite there to 6 yet, then let's go to the part, or 6 or higher, go to the part that stands out the most, the part where you're like, oh, I'm feeling a little compromised or a little bit confused in this kind of relationship, or this conflict is something that happens every day in this type of relationship. Whatever might be coming up for you, just go to the part that stands out the most. And then step number 4 is we're going to start tapping. So just take your 2 fingers and just tap between your eyes and repeat out loud after me. And say, all this confusion, all this struggle, the illusions and delusions I may be feeding into about this relationship, wherever they came from, whatever they mean, I just let them go from every cell of my body. And then tap on the side of the eye. My lack of clarity, the confusion, the overwhelming feelings, maybe even out of control feelings. I clear the emotional patterns that support every negative emotional aspect that contribute to these illusions and delusions about my unhealthy relationship. about my conflicted relationship. I'm willing today to release and let them go. And then tap under your eye. Whatever stands out, whatever's left, whatever I'm still connected to, the beliefs that are tying it to me, I'm willing to untie them today, loosen them up, clearing the patterns and cycles that support it. I'm ready to see clearly. I'm wanting to see clearly. I'm ready for healing and healthy relationships. And then tap on your collarbone. At the core of who I am, I deserve authentic and healing relationships in my life. Clearing any blocks or barriers that may be in the way of receiving this today. Thank you. And then take one hand and squeeze the opposite wrist a couple of times. Take a nice, easy breath. Blow it out. Say the word clear.
Clear.
So if you followed along with us, I invite you to share with us in the chat, how did that go for you?
Yeah. Check in with yourself and put in the comments what you experienced, if you felt anything there. I was just intending for people to receive any and all things that you mentioned to be resolved, corrected, and healed, and that they receive that release and clearing that is best for them.
Beautiful.
Okay, and someone had asked, how do they figure out what is fear and what is procrastination? Sometimes they can be the same thing. So as long as you're making a choice to make a change there, it really doesn't matter if it's fear or procrastination, as long as you feel that it's being resolved in some way, shape, or form, right? But I don't know if you have any other.
I think the thing about time is that it's always in the perfect time. We are nature, and there are no mistakes in nature. And the closer that we can be connected with nature, which is our intuitive self, the more we can be guided by the impulses and urges to know when is the right time for us. And so if your life is full of clutter, you may be needing to clear out some energy leaks in your life to be able to get more focused. And when you're more focused, you'll be able to really feel into those urges and say, well, this is what I need to do next. And just follow the next impulse and the next impulse. I know we want to live by this calendar-driven society of every minute of the day is scheduled and make sure you maximize your time. But there really is so much beauty in the fluidity and the essence of life as it's in nature. So don't be so hard on yourself about procrastinating. Rather take the experience and opportunity to go inward, to reconnect, and feel into what's the next thing that feels good to me, and go do that thing and build that relationship with yourself. And if there's fear about doing it, you can certainly do some tapping. You certainly can do some humming. We know there's a lot of things out there that you can have in your stress relief toolbox to help you get over those fears, and then really to feel into those impulses and start to relax the timing and the pressure that we put on ourselves to be able to just do things with more fluidity.
Yeah, and release whatever's causing you to have that judgment against procrastination or whatever it is. You can tap on that too, release it, and really bring in acceptance there, I found that that's always a good thing to replace judgment with is acceptance, or either neutrality, which is being neutral, being in that accepting state of just what is, but knowing that you can make a change, that you have the power to change things. So I always love that.
You always lean up to the point where you've got resistance, and that resistance is there to teach you something about yourself. Either it's, to connect more deeply, or to be able to think differently, have a different emotional experience about it. Because when you're faced with something that you've got as resistance, as soon as you do something a little bit different, you're really building resiliency in your mind, body, and you're really building more and more of that inner wisdom. It's every time you took that little extra step, did something just a little bit differently, that you built some type of a new pathway to have opportunity to have a different experience.
And that's actually, I like that you said resiliency, because That's what came up the other day was resilient. I am resilient. So let's download if anyone would like to receive that, or actually, if you want to do the tapping to actually tap it in, you can do that too. But resilience and also vitality and just overall well-being. So let's just ask that come in for you, however that is meant to be for you. Anyone that's would like to receive that, I'm just going to ask that you receive whatever kind of downloads or activations that are best for you. Everyone is different. And I'm going to do these accelerator images that I have here. Temple of the Heart is the first one.
Yeah, they're so beautiful.
Awakens love and higher wisdom. So this is what it looks like. Okay. I'm just going to send out the energies, the frequencies of this. And I have another one here as well. All right. And Suzanne is going to put her links to reach out to her in the comments after the show. So go back to the original video here to look at that. But you can find her at transformedconnections.com. Transformedconnections.com.
Yes.
And the next one I have here is Geometry of Love attracts and enhances relationships.
I love this one. You shared with this one earlier. It's just magnificent.
And I'm going to send this out as well. These hold energies, frequencies, and so you just receive those. And I actually had one more I do want to share those. The Pillars of Hercules, and it's personal and relationship balance. So this is another one that I had out. And so these hold the languages of light. They hold all kinds of just higher wisdom and frequencies and just things like that. Okay, so I'm going to send that out. And let's see what I have here. Sherry Matson, or Shari, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, S-H-A-R-I, Matson. She shared out a few times last week. So I will be reaching out to her to see if she would like to receive that Lightwave session this week. And Kenzel shared out a video that we did this past week, and she was chosen when I did a video with Zach. He actually chose someone, and it happened to be Kenzel. So she's one of our ralliers here at the Akashic Academy. And also, your show was on last night. So yeah, so Suzanne has Let's Tap that comes on Monday evenings or nights. It depends on where you are. It's 9 p.m. Eastern time, right?
It's 9 p.m. Eastern time on Mondays, US, and also replays at 6 a.m. on Tuesday, 6 a.m. Eastern on Tuesday mornings as well.
Okay.
And I have a Facebook group called the Empowered Tapping Revolution. So if you're interested in more tapping, you're welcome to join. It's a free group. It's just for women. It's a group for women to build inner wisdom and resiliency for life stresses using energy tapping. I share a lot of other things in that stress relief toolbox that I was mentioning about with you earlier. So I'll make sure to put a link to it in the description of the video after we're done. Anybody who wants to come over and join me over there.
Absolutely. So find her there if you would like to reach out to me, or check out, I have free the frequency numbers that you can use, and there's instructions on many different ways to use them, but get playful with them and play around with them and find, there's so many other ways you can get creative with them. But those are on the homepage of my website, which is christywarnick.com. And so you can go there and get those and use those. And
I didn't think I know that. I'm going to do that right after we're done here.
And you can sign up for my email list, my email audience, because I'm going to be sending out a free gift video soon. It's going to be about youthening and about cellular rejuvenation and all kinds of to do with the fountain of youth, basically. So
I'll do that.
I'll be sending out a free gift to those that are on my email list. So be sure to sign up for that. It's on my website. It has a little pop-up menu. You just enter in your name and your first name and your email, and that's it. So beautiful. Coming up next is Qigong with Kiralani here on the Akashic Academy page. And also the Akashic magazine is out. It came out April 1st, and you can get your free download of that from the akashicacademy.com. And so you just go there and you can get a free download of that plus the previous issues, and it's got all kinds of amazing things in it. And I'm going to be talking more about that this Saturday with the editor of the magazine.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, Bridget Sloan will be with me. I'm going to have a special event show. We're going to just call it the Akashic Magazine Show. And so, yes, I'm going to be doing that, and Bridget's going to be on with me, and we're going to be talking about the rise of the light worker and what that means. So it'll be this Saturday it'll be 1:00 p.m. Eastern time. So you can watch for it. I'm about to create the post and all that for that, so that'll be exciting. So I'll be also offering a free remote lightwave session for those that share out that video as well. So there's plenty of opportunities here to get in this. And what is the free lightwave balancing session? It is a remote session where I message you before and after, but it balances your chakras, your elementals, and your body systems. And it just has all these amazing frequencies that you receive and kind of get bubbled in this amazing field of wonderful frequencies. So yeah, so that's what you get when you share out my shows, and I choose someone each show to receive that, and I reach out to you. And so check your messages, and I will announce next week's winner on next week's show, this week's winner. And so definitely check us out on Saturday too. We're going to be talking about the magazine, and we're just going to have an interactive show with you too. So we're going to interact with you. So if you have questions, or if you have suggestions or requests for the future editions, you're going to be able to comment and get in on that. So thank you all for joining us.
Yeah, I'm so glad you're doing a show on the magazine. That's going to be exciting, because so many different modalities are out there, and people being able to share all that wisdom. And so definitely, when you don't have time to watch a show or you don't have your video, you could read the magazine.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's all kinds of amazing content in there. And I had an article in the last edition, but not this one. So I don't know if you've had an opportunity to do that yet or not, Suzanne. But
it did. Mine is in this edition.
Okay.
Right now. Awesome. That's out right now. It's about,
so what is your article about?
It's about using energy tapping in the corporate environment, in the work world.
Okay, so check out that. Yeah, so check out Suzanne's article in the newest magazine, and mine's in the previous edition, and it has to do with. It was about intuition, and so it was a fun article to do. So check that out, and we will see you all again next time. So thank you so much. I will have another amazing guest on with me next week. I'm looking forward to that. I got some other guests coming up in the near future that are just going to be so wonderful and inspiring. So check us out every Tuesday here. And I same time, same place every Tuesday, so you can find me here, and I will see you next time. Thank you for joining me, Suzanne.
Thanks, Christy. Thanks, everybody, for being here.
All right. See you next time. Bye.